Yeah, Guapo, ha, Guapo, huh, Guapo, MoBlock, Guapo, Guapo, Guap, MoBlock or no block, MoBlock or no block, MoBlock or no block, talk shit, get your head popped, MoBlock or no block, MoBlock or no block, MoBlock or no block, talk shit, get your head popped, MoBlock or no block, MoBlock or no block, MoBlock or no block, talk shit, get your head popped, MoBlock or no block, MoBlock or no block, MoBlock or no block.
Hello everybody, my name is Liam, and I am a representative for the Associated Press. My background includes being involved in the committee process for determining the AP College Football Top 25 rankings. These rankings require extreme precision and attention to detail. My experience being there has given me a wealth of knowledge for what makes and doesn't make a good football team. On top of that, I am a huge football fan and fantasy football fan. So when the commissioner of your league, Emmett, aka Showtime, made me an offer to power rate your fantasy league, it was almost like getting paid for something I can do in my sleep compared to what I had to do for college football committee. Now, with all that being said, let's get into the week 0. Power ratings. Coming in at number 12, we have Deshaun. Deshaun actually started out strong, picking 3 stud wide receivers in the first 3 rounds, and then following it up with Kenneth Walker in the 4th round, who is looking for a new contract and has proof of being a 1,000-yard back. But then, everything went downhill. Mahomes, Laporta, Aaron Jones, and Mooney were all huge reaches according to consensus ADP. And then the worst pick of all is Amari Cooper, who hates football more than any player I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. Picking a defense in the 10th round is a complete waste too. I still don't get why anyone invests in defenses. And then, on top of all of that, I received word from the commissioner that you asked, how are certain teams getting 2 picks back-to-back? If I wasn't doing this narration right now, I'd faceplant myself through this table in front of me. If I were you, I'd suggest you study up as much as possible on waivers and decline all trade requests unless somebody wants Amari Cooper. Coming in at number 11, we have Vontae. This draft, we can just draw it up as a bad to batter to baddest. And I'm not talking about women. Anyway, you start out early and reach for Josh Allen and Mike Evans around earlier than they should have went. Kittle and Pickens are nice players, but then you reach multiple rounds for an aging and declining Cooper Kupp, who doesn't have luxury of Sean McVay scheming him open on 90% of the plays. I'd be shocked if that pick doesn't flop. Then to make matters worse, you make one of the worst picks in the entire draft and select Joe Mixon in the 9th round. A 30-year-old player with a lingering ankle injury that the Texans are trying their best to cover up as he sits on the reserve list. Safe to say he'll be missing a ton of action. The one small positive about your draft is you were able to acquire Hollywood Brown in the 14th round, who was a huge steal according to consensus ADP, even though he's an injury-prone prima donna. Coming in at number 10, we have Roland. This draft is just extremely boring if I had to sum it up into one word. Burrow in the 3rd round was an unnecessary reach. Kamara and Pollard's best days are behind them. And Jalen Waddle and Michael Pittman have been underperforming players for the last 2 years in a row, which is why you got decent prices on them, because nobody else in the league wanted to touch them. The most confusing thing about this whole draft is you reach on Burrow in the 3rd, and hey, Joe Burrow was the best quarterback in the league last year. And I say that because I had a very small influence with my media credentials on determining the MVP. He was better than Allen and Lamar. But why the hell would you take Justin Fields in the 10th round? Fields is on his 3rd team in 4 years, and I don't think anyone can make a case that he's ever going to be a good player. He's never thrown for 3,000 yards in his entire career, which is borderline embarrassing. And even if he starts to take off running the ball, teams know it's coming, and it'll be easy to nullify. Beyond that, you'll never start him over Burrow, so that was a wasted pick. The rest of the draft was basically irrelevant players that I guarantee nobody wanted. Coming in at number 9, we have this ugly motherfucker, Pape? I'm just kidding, Pape. You can take a guess at who paid me a little extra to say that. But anyway, your team has a woolly lot of risk that would make it hard for me to sleep at night. Even though Devin Achane was a steal at 2.11, the fact that there are reports of him dealing with soft tissue problems as a small 190-pound running back almost makes him undraftable. But if that's all a hoax, you could have gotten the steal of the draft. Rashee Rice is technically another risky pick, but at least we know what he can do when he's on the field. A player that we don't know what he can do when he is on the field is Quinshon Judkins, which I will award you for making the dumbest pick in the entire draft. A player who isn't even under contract with his team, and then faces possible disciplinary action for punching his girlfriend, you pick in the 8th round. Do you support women beaters? Is that why you can't get a girl? Coming in at number 8, we have Zay. I'm not sure what Zay was thinking exactly, but this looks like a team that when he was drafting it, he said to himself, just don't fuck this up. And then, funny enough, still managed to auto-draft Mark Andrews. Don't worry, Showtime won't spank you for auto-drafting players unlike that other motherfucker. Andrews isn't a bad player for fantasy this year, as he is coming off a horrible season where he dropped a game-tying pass in the playoff game, so he should come into this year hungry and motivated. However, a reach is a reach. The most interesting thing about this draft as a whole is how tight end hungry everyone was. Pause. Anyway, the rest of the draft after that presents zero upside with players like Rachaad White and Kareem Hunt. The one small pick I think was great is Will Shipley, a former 5-star running back from Clemson that I covered during his time there with crazy athletic numbers. Hang on to him. Coming in at number 7, we have Markell. Markell's draft was kind of funny because it literally went good pick, bad pick. McBride, good pick. Chuba, bad pick. Worthy, good pick. Montgomery, bad pick. Diggs, good pick. Debo, horrible pick. Half of the people in this league could probably outrun Debo right now, and that includes Mencho. It was no coincidence why the 49ers dumped him for nothing. Zach Charbonnet was a fantastic pick at the price you got him at, as he is an ascending player in a now-run first offense, but then again you go right back to making a horrible pick with one of the most overrated football players of all time, Kyler Midget Murray. The one positive with him is, his short ass can't even see the receivers running open down the field, so he'll check the ball down to McBride, who will have 1 million targets this year and likely be the tight end one. Coming in at number 6, we have Juan. Early on, Juan was drafting Goofy and letting his fandom get in the way of picking a sound fantasy team, which is one of the worst mistakes you can make. We've all been there and done that, unless you're a fan of the bum-ass Giants or Jets. There was no need to pick Lamar in the 2nd round. Tyreek in the 3rd round is very similar to Pepe getting a chain in the 2nd round. This can either blow up in your face and sink your team or be a huge profit. The thing with Dolphins players as a whole is nobody on that team takes football serious. They all play merely to earn a fat bag so they can run around to every VIP section in all the premier nightclubs and throw their racks around while the trashy baddies down there eat it up. Nothing about that team says winning, which is why they're 20+ years without winning a playoff game. All in all, stay away from Dolphins players, according to my sources. Now to close out your draft, I thought you made some quality selections. Jordan Mason in the 9th round is a huge steal. He's a goal line, back on a good team, and Aaron Jones is a declining player. Algiers, JJ, and Ray Davis are all quality backs too at that price, so I'll give you that. Coming in at number 5, we have Senor Cristiano Garcia. Now, the commissioner told me you have 3 championships in this league, so it is hard to not put you at number 1 just off that fact alone. When looking at your draft, the only couple things I can poke holes in are how you reached for quarterback and tight end. Daniels had an incredible rookie season, but regression is imminent. Defensive coordinators get paid millions of dollars to watch tape and dissect holes in young players, and I have a feeling his magic won't continue much longer compared to last year when he was unknown. Hawkinson can be a great player this year, as he was a top tight end just 2 years ago, but you reached like crazy to get him. It's just unnecessary. Your skill players look fine, and Egbuka is one of my favorite picks in the entire draft. The one last player I have concern about is Keon Coleman. Are we sure he can play? Coming in at number 4, we have Jamar. The commissioner told me how much you have improved over your career in fantasy, and looking at your team. Now, I'd honestly say I would have never known you to be a scrub. You kept it pretty safe in the early rounds and then got great value on Odins and Addison in the middle rounds. The one pick I'd question is Nick Chubb. Even though I knocked Vontae earlier for picking an injured Mixon, I think Chubb in the 8th round is a bit excessive. He too is 30 years old and coming off some injury problems of his own. I think the running back people are sleeping on is Woody Marks, who Pape got in the last round. The best feature about your team is you stacked your bench with upside running backs. Ollie Gordon was one of the biggest steals in the entire draft, as he was the best running back in college football just 1 year ago, and then had an injury and a bad 40-yard dash time that set him back. He might be the only player on the Dolphins that is on a mission. The commissioner told me you are a Giants fan, and what makes me chuckle a little bit is I know Giants fans are so hyped up to see that small-ass, slow-ass running back, Scatabo. That dude looked good running over college players, but he ain't doing shit in the NFL with that size and speed profile. Coming in at number 3, we have Chris aka Mencho. According to the commissioner, you love to try and swoop him and hear out who he and Pepe like so you can try and take their players before they go. And then, if you don't know who to pick, you pick the best player available on the top of the consensus ADP. That sounds about right looking at your draft now and seeing what you did. Henderson was a great value in the 4th round, but Tracy and Devonta Smith were questionable picks that early. You followed it up nicely with Olav and Josh Downs in your next 2 picks, and then funny enough, auto-draft into Bo Nix, which I actually think was the computer doing you a favor. My favorite pick of your entire draft is Samson in the 12th round. Samson had 22 touchdowns last year in the SEC against big boy schools, and is the youngest player in the NFL. On top of that, he is under contract with his team and not facing any domestic violence, so the ceiling is very high there. Coming in at number 2, we have Emmett aka Showtime. I think the best feature with Emmett's draft is he knows when and where to pick the players off of strictly instinct. The overall values were very slight each round, but the structure of the team is well balanced. He knew to zig where everyone else was zagging. My favorite pick of the entire draft is Pacheco in the 7th round. He's a 7th round pick, entering a contract year with a lot to prove and a whole lot of money to earn. On top of that, he is in one of the best offenses in the entire league, so he should see significant volume. I'm shocked the league let him slip that far. The one negative I'll say about your team, though, is your quarterback room is extremely vanilla. I'd rather watch paint dry than watch those 2 fucking quarterbacks play on Sunday. And coming in at number 1, we have Quando Beans aka Raquan. What's funny is, according to the commissioner, you are a guy that probably outstudies almost all of the league and then likes to act super nonchalant as if they didn't try. Personally, I hate that shit. But if I'm taking bias away, I love your lineup. Tyler Warren is one of the best young tight ends I've seen in a long time. Well, aside from Brock Bowers, but I think he can be the next Travis Kelce. I think you had the best first 6 rounds of anybody, and Tet McMillan was also another steal. He dominated at Arizona, and he should carry that over to the NFL. The couple picks I didn't like were Myers and Eckler. Myers is one of the most slow and boring receivers in the entire league, and Eckler's best days are behind him, despite him being the starter. Your bench overall is pretty whack, and the commissioner told me you thought the bench had upside. Now that's laughable. Godwin has a bad leg injury, Javonte has a bum knee, Najee has impaired vision, and Keenan Allen is 35 years old. Where is the upside? Oh, let me guess. Christian Kirk? Even though I think he's trash, at that price, it's good value. Getting those 2 quarterbacks for that price that late is great value as well. The main reason you are number 1, though, is I see that lineup as the most intimidating. But if you start losing guys, you're going to drop in these rankings fast? There you have it, guys. I look forward to seeing how everything plays out, and I will report back on September 10th with an updated version of the MoBlock Power Ratings. Good luck, everyone.